He's also known as the
Busta.
That's it.
Hey, Todd. When's the last time we did one of these?
2018.
It was definitely last year. It was before the new year. This is Short Attention Gamer 142. I think that's what we're at. And you're here.
I am.
Todd.
I'm here. I made it. Took me a little while, but I'm here.
We have another guy here. Another guy. You may remember. His name's Adam.
How do I make the Googles do googly things? like how do I make it so it will just switch to whoever's talking? Because Google Hangouts, I can't. Okay, all right. Listen, this is a family-friendly podcast.
If you click off of, make sure there's no border around any of our pictures, and it'll just keep swapping between.
Oh, there we go. I fixed it. Look at that, man. I am high tech technical a guy over here. I'm amazing. Hey, by the way, my name is Adam Potophobia Cogswell, and I used to podcast with these two fellas back in the day.
Long time ago. It actually feels like a decade or so.
It's more than less has been.
How long has it been though? Really? Like
our last podcast, I started podcasting on the Trinity Force podcast in 2011, and I was doing that side by side for a little bit with you guys. So about then.
2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is almost
almost a decade.
A lot's happened. You're not a mixed martial arts fighter anymore.
Nope, not that anymore. I'm just a drunk and a dad.
A drunk dad.
You've moved jobs multiple times.
I went from you guys met me in Ohio, Kentucky. Yeah, I went to Louisiana. Now I live in Colorado Springs. So,
man, that's why we're doing this at 9:30, is so we could get you in here too and talking. But prior to us hitting that broadcast button, Adam had to be reminded that this is a family-friendly show.
Can we beep it out? Can I just have a long string of explicits and then maybe be like a radio?
We're doing it live, so it's not. Yeah. It's not possible.
We have no delay. There's no way to do that. Well, there probably is, but we don't have.
But what if I go on my iPhone here and I do like censor app? Like
just every time you know you're gonna do something, you just like bring.
Yeah, I don't know how fast it'll download, but this could be.
I liked thinking, Adam, that you already had the censor app on your phone, that you've had to use it so many times that you just bring that app right up and go, here we go again.
Todd, do I look like somebody? Whoa, what the heck? See, I almost swore right there.
Yes, you did. You totally did. Caught yourself.
What the? This is much. I can't believe all this. It's much. God. See, I just did that all the time.
We're like, with the power of the internet, we're kind of simulcasting right now over both YouTube and Twitch, which is interesting. I think, right? You were on the Trinity Force Network Twitch.
Yes, we are live on twitch.tv/T-Force podcast. For those of you that listen to the show at all, you all know that you guys are part of the Trinity Force Network now.
We are. Yes. We do forget to mention it sometimes. I'm sorry, but we also forget to podcast sometimes.
Yeah, I don't really care. I was just helping a friend out. You needed a place to host.
Need a place to crash. He let us crash on his sofa.
That's right.
Effectively.
His Trinity Force sofa.
I have a futon right behind me now. That's a new addition since the last show. But we have a friend of my wife's who sleeps on that like almost every week. So it's a similar situation.
Wish they were there right now. That would be awesome.
Not there right now.
That would be awesome.
Shut up, Jim.
She actually plays what is it, Elder Scrolls Online, like every time she's here. So I don't play, she just plays.
Yeah, so speaking of video game stuff, what are we talking about tonight? Do we have like something? I was just like, hey, let's get together.
It's been so I know there was a complaint or a demand for like a game of the year thing, but I think it's a little late for that. And
I've been playing stuff, so I do have some stuff to talk about.
Oh, I've played stuff as well, Todd. I finished that Red Dead Redemption game.
Finally.
I know, it took me forever. Actually, so I'm not completely done with it. I got to the second epilogue.
Yeah, that game just keeps going.
It just keeps going. So I'm there right now, and then this game called Apex came out that I started playing a little bit, and I'm awful at that. So, but but that just happened. So
Yeah, that what 2 days ago.
yeah, 5th, I think that's when it came
Yeah.
out. One of those battle royale games.
Yeah, I'm being talked into downloading it
through your PC, a PC game
through Origin. Yeah. See, I play. If you guys, I don't know, you might remember Wrecker. I don't know, but my buddy Wrecker and I play games together just about every night. We've been playing Ring of Elysium quite a bit because we like the battle royales.
Yeah.
And so we went from PUBG, and then he found Ring of Elysium. We played that, but then season 2, like we were playing it quite extensively before season 2 came out. And then season 2 came out, and they kind of ruined the game, honestly, bringing season 2 out. For those of you, I guess I'll just kind of throw it out there. For those of you that may have never played Ring of Elysium, it's like PUBG and where it's supposed to be realistic, but the guns aren't as realistic. And every player has a kit loadout. Like you have a glider or a grappling hook or a bike, right? And so you can use those to traverse the map or do whatever you need to do. And when season 2 came out, they essentially took the map that was a lot of fun with all these like really high places you could snipe people from or glide from and everything, and they just shrunk it all down. So there's not as many vantage points and places to spawn, and just the strategy felt like it went out the window. And not to mention Apex came out, so the player bases just went down the freaking tubes. And now the game is filling with a lot of bots when you play it. So we're trying to find something else, and I guess Apex is probably where we're going to go to.
Bots meaning actually from the game supports bots.
Yeah. So what happens? What's been happening is the lobby will fill up, right? Well, you wait, then you get into the map, you choose where you want to spawn on the map, and then about 10 seconds before everything locks in, these little dots start appearing all over the screen where people are spawning, and those are all bots because bots just spawn in random places on the map, and so they just fill all the lobbies with bots when they can't fill it with normal people.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah, as the night goes on, like more like around 9 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock my time, more people start logging on because I'm assuming West Coast players start kind of coming on around that time. Yep. And you get less bots, but it's still there's only something like I think they said like 10,000 people, 12,000 people playing last night. There's not that many people playing the game anymore, and there was something like 50 or 60,000 playing when the new map came out. So that player base just went on the tubes.
That's like Artifact, like Valve's Artifact game. Player bases for that is garbage right now.
Well, that's what happens when you release a card game that costs money when there's 2 free competitors out there, right?
Well, yeah, and it's confusing. It's not user friendly.
Have you tried it, Todd?
Yeah, I did not have fun.
I did hear that. I heard there was too much going on. Like they tried to make it like really Dota-ish, but it's just too much to keep track of, and it makes it unfun because of that. That's literally all I know. That it's such a bland description, but
the Rings game is a PC only game, right, Adam?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what
it's made by Tencent, who owns Riot Games. But Tencent also makes PlayerUnknown Mobile, and PlayerUnknown Mobile has always been better than the actual PlayerUnknown. And I don't know, I haven't played it in a while, so it might not be better. But but a lot of quality of life stuff, like being able to, if you put a new, like Ring, right? If I pick up a weapon, any attachments that would go on that weapon that was on my old one, they just automatically switch over. And in PUBG, it used to be, I don't know if it is like that now, all your shit goes back, all your stuff goes back in your inventory. All your stuff goes back in your inventory. And it's kind of obnoxious. Oh man, I made Todd leave.
Todd's walking away. He heard it and he needs to go.
Wait, can I have a do-over? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm screwed up.
That's all right. No, so I haven't played Ring of Elysium. I've played very little PUBG. That was before it was even released. I don't know. Is it even actually for PC? Is it even out fully yet? Yeah, it is finally. All right.
It came out fully something like 6-8 months ago.
So it was prior to that I played it, and it was fun. But I'm terrible at Twitch games now. And that includes Apex. Like, I've been playing Apex, and it seems cool because now I got people to help support me because I'm terrible. And you're forced to, right? You get in and you drop in with 3 people in each squad. They don't have any single solo queues or anything like that. And you can choose to peel away from them, but I think that's really a disadvantage if you do that because everybody else is supposed to be working in teams, and if you're like lone wolf in it, then you're probably gonna die.
See, none of that really. It doesn't really speak to me. Like if I'm playing, I like to play duos because obviously I like to play with Wrecker a lot. I'm not really a solo guy, but I know that I've seen all the articles that say you don't have to talk to people anymore. You can use emotes or whatever in the game to talk to people. But still, I don't want to be with two random people I don't know that could potentially cost me the game. I'd rather just have the buddy I talk to all the time, right? Like if I was playing with you, just be me and you playing.
Oh, and just to not you
Right.
don't even want the third person.
Right, I'd rather there be a duos queue, a single duo and squad queue, just like every other battle royale game. But I guess their games probably balanced around teams, right, and different combinations of teams and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because they've got your different. It's effectively different loadouts. Every player moves the same for the most part, but some of them, like one guy has a grappling hook, one guy's a healer. One guy's the big heavy infantry guy. He has a shield and stuff. So there are different things and like different combinations, I guess, that they're hoping that'll start working together better.
Sure.
And you can't have like two healers unless they add a different heal. You can't have the same person twice on a team, basically.
How many classes are there?
There are 6 unlocked, and then 2 that are locked. And I think there's a way like. The more you play, you can get points to unlock the other 2 that are there.
Can you buy the other 2 if you wanted to?
I think so. I haven't really looked into any money piece of it at all.
They haven't started. What I heard was they haven't started the season pass yet, and so they're trying to get everybody, the player base, building up, and then they're going to start the season pass. I think in a few weeks.
Oh, I'm so sick of how games make their money now. I'm
Yeah.
so sick of this crap. Like, I get it, and it makes sense, and it makes me happier, because I don't remember if you guys remember a conversation that we had, 10 years ago now, but kind of the same thing when free-to-play started coming around, right? Where we're like, hey, this is better than I'm going to spend $60 a month, on new games, right? It's better than spending $60 on a new game, but still, I feel like I'm being nickel and dimed for everything I could ever want.
Yeah.
And I'm getting really sick of it.
Well, so, I mean, for this in particular, as far as they've said, it's only cosmetics, right? There's no, and potentially these classes that you're gonna be rolling out as they come along, right? So if you just want to go in and play, you can still just go in and play.
But then I have to. Okay, so if it's anything like Ring Season Pass, you can unlock things, and you can unlock the things that are helpful. Like for Ring, you can get everything but the new characters. Unless if you have the Season Pass, you can get a whole bunch of new stuff and starting new characters. And none of the characters give you any kind of advantage. Maybe the color advantage helps. If you're playing the snow map, maybe wearing a white character helps better than wearing an all black character or a red character.
Okay.
That's subjective, I guess. But if you have to, it's kind of like League of Legends, right? Where if you want to be competitive, you have to unlock all the characters, or any MOBA, you have to have all the characters and understand how they all work. So if the games are going that route where there's new characters unlocking and you either have to grind really hard to get them or pay for them, there's obviously an advantage to having money.
I got you. Yes, if you want to go that competitive route, which I never will ever personally.
Yeah,
I do see what you're saying.
If it's like Fortnite, and I'm betting you that it will be, it's all going to be cosmetics. It's the things that make you look cool, or
Sure.
what you perceive to be cool. And so from that perspective, I mean, I guess I'm okay with it. I bought I think one season pass for Fortnite just to see what it was like.
Mhm.
And that stuff doesn't, costumes, changing the way I look, it just doesn't do much for me anymore. So I'm not sold on it. I'd rather just play the game. But for some people,
and it's not
a big
targeting
deal.
us, of course. We're not. I don't
Well,
think any
sure.
of us are in that crowd where having all this. I've heard how many horror stories of friends that have had kids that have racked up credit card debt or racked up their own. Their 21-year-old kids who have a credit card and put $200-$300 on it for Fortnite because they're idiots.
Yeah.
And I bought the season pass for Ring because I wanted to support Tencent, and I wanted to because I liked the first season, and I bought it for the second season thinking it was going to be awesome. I'm a little disappointed, but giving them $20 is whatever. What's $20, right? But still, I'm not getting anything from it, so I'm okay with giving them $20. I'm not spending $60 in a new game, etc. All the stupid, tired arguments.
Yeah, and I don't see a problem with it if you want to support the game and if you want to help. And I don't see a problem with Fortnite either. It's just, you're right. I'm not the market. I'm not the target audience anymore. That I once was. Pardon me. Pardon that. Get away.
After playing all these free-to-play games for so many years and going over Ring and whatnot, I bought the new Spider-Man game for PS4, and I also bought Pokemon Let's Go. And that hurt me to spend $120 in 2 games at Christmas that I have hardly touched, right? Like
Spider-Man's really good, Adam. You should play Spider-Man.
And it's the only game. It's the only game that I actually cared about the different spider outfits. A lot of those games I don't care, but there are a few that I really wanted to see what those look like.
They look nice. I follow PlayStation or whatever on Twitter, so I see them. Or who makes the Spider-Man game.
It's first party Sony, right?
Yes.
Insomniac.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I follow Insomniac on Twitter, so I see them, post all the costumes. And I played a bunch of it. Honestly, this is going to sound silly, but I wanted to wait until I got a new TV to really play it because the game looked beautiful, but my TV's about 10 years old, so I wanted more vibrant colors. And we had talked about buying a TV at Christmas and then didn't buy one, and I just haven't got back to it since. It's a really, really lame excuse to not.
I think that's an acceptable excuse. I held off on playing God of War for PS4 because I wanted a different TV that support. Everyone's like, oh, it's beautiful. It's so I wanted a 4K TV that would support it, but I still haven't gone back to it either.
Yeah. Well, I need to go buy a PlayStation 4 Pro or whatever the hell they're called to get the 4K, which I'm 2 years too late on having or being upset about that, but still.
Hey, they're thinking about the 5. I heard rumors about the 5 coming pretty soon too, like 2 years, maybe 2 or 1 year.
All Sony first party developers have started working on for a game, so there you have it.
Yeah.
So if I have to hold out 2 more years to play Spider-Man, so be it.
That is if it's backwards compatible.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'll play it. I'll go back and play it here shortly. I'll play that. I want to pick up Red Dead. I've never played the first Red Dead. I kind of missed that because I think I started. Well, that was kind of like the tail end of me playing video games and hit League hard, and then I played League for like 7 years straight, nothing else. So I missed out on like 7 years of stuff, and I'm finally just now getting back to it and being like, oh, I missed all doing playing all this.
So what happened with? I know that you left, right? You left Trinity Force podcast, right?
Yep.
You're not doing that anymore. Why is that?
Life.
I
have a 17-month-old now, and it's just become too much.
That sounds almost exactly like why I stopped doing most of the stuff.
I can still play games. I get to sit down at 7 o'clock, at night after all the kids go to bed, and I can play games for a couple hours, and then I can play them on the weekends. It's not that I don't have time to play video games. It's just like, for example, for League of Legends, if I wanted to be competitive in that game and continue to do a podcast about it, I would need to put 3 or 4 hours in every single night. And it's, as you guys know, you can't really sit down for 30 minutes in a game and not be able to pause it or walk away, without there being ramifications. And if you've got a 17-month-old running around doing something stupid, you have to be at a moment's notice ready to go for it. And I never understood that. I think it's funny. I was thinking about this today. I remember talking to you guys and everybody else, kids are coming around and I'm like, oh, old man Jim and old man Todd, they got kids, this, that. I'm like, I get it now. I finally get it. It only took, me having a family.
Yeah, and it doesn't end when they go to college. There's still things like picking them up from, if they're in college where you live, then there's still things that happen. But yeah, I mean, what I found and what I thought about with you, Adam, with trying to juggle all those things is you get to a point where you can choose. Really, for me, it was choose one or the other. Either you can play games and enjoy them, or you can do a show. And trying to do both those things with kids was really difficult. And so I chose, there was a point in there, and Jim kind of remembers, my kids were a little older when I finally started doing the first show, but there was a point, though, where I had to choose either I play games and enjoy those, or I do a podcast. And I was tired of feeling like I had to play a new game each week to talk about with a podcast. And that's why I enjoy this format so much better, where we just do it whenever we finally show up, and who knows if we've played any games.
Well, I had talked about, I'm not going to swear because I can't swear on this show, but we had always talked about doing like a Sunday morning B-Fest. Okay, I can't think of a better word, but that's the way we go. You know, like where we just get together, kind of like a talk show, where we literally just talk about anything and everything, from politics to life to what's going on in the world to what's going on in our lives to video games, just literally anything you could think of, right? And it never came to fruition, but that's something that I've always wanted to do, is kind of like do a radio show type of thing where anything goes and you can talk about whatever you want, play games and do whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's where my life is more heading now. If I was to be podcasting, would be kind of like once a week, once every other week, and just do what you want, talk about it, and hope that people think you're funny, right? Or
that they tune in.
That's this.
Sometimes they don't. Yeah, sometimes they tune in and sometimes they don't. But we just keep talking. You know, and it should be relaxing and comforting for people to know that they could go away, come back a year later, and these two idiots are still here talking. They haven't stopped. And now there's a third idiot that's joined us.
Yeah, I'm here. I'll try to join you guys when you do it, especially if it's, you know, infrequent. I'm happy to join because
infrequent is a good word to use, I think.
And I promise, if I do join you guys again, that I won't be like old Adam, where it was like, we have to do this all the time. It's going to be like Jim's going to email me and say, hey, I think we should do a podcast now. And I'm like, all right, do you mind staying up until 10:30, Jim?
You can do it.
Do actually.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you were about to say.
I was gonna. No, I wanted to tell you about a game.
No, that's. I mean, that's primarily why we're here. I mean,
Yes.
it is a little different because it's almost like a reunion show right now. But yeah, tell me about your
today. All right, so today we were. I in this earlier. We were off work because there was ice and ice storm around this area. It just so happened that the closed beta. I don't know if it's. They don't call it the VIP beta for Division 2 started today.
Oh boy!
Yes, and they have done some incredible quality of life things to make that game, streamline it, make it even more fun than it was the first time. And if you're able to get into the beta, and I won't talk a lot about what's going on, but if you're able to get into the beta, and I think what happens is you can get friends into the beta. So I think I could get you in. It's huge. It is really, I mean, I think I played for 2 hours today and I may have done half of the beta, maybe. So it's
wow.
Pretty big. There's a lot of game there.
The thing that I worry about with the beta specifically, not worry about, is that I kind of want to be surprised about all the stuff. Like, because with the Division 1, like I played the beta of it, and I went in and I played for quite a while, and then I had to do the exact same thing again when the game came out. So I don't want to really do that. I don't want to play the same stuff.
I thought that today while I was playing, and normally I don't like to do that, and that's why I won't play a lot of betas. But as I was playing the missions, the few missions that I got the chance to play, I thought I will enjoy doing these all over again whenever the game comes out.
Really?
Yeah, so I enjoyed it that much. The Division 1 beta sold me on the game. I remember playing that and thinking, oh yeah, I like this. And this is doing the same thing all over again.
Is Division that game where they showed it at E3 and they had all the voice actors playing it, and they were, I mean, they do this all year, right? Then it's a Tom Clancy game, right?
It is a Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, because I remember watching something where they had a bunch of voice actors and they were, you know, talking, and you know how they do it, like the E3 things, like, you know, I can't even talk the way they talk. Oh, picking up such a weapon, and you know, over here in coordinates 3672, there's a guy, you know, that type of stuff, right? And that just reminds me of. So I don't know anything about the Division. I never played the first one. I just only know it's a Tom Clancy game.
It is a good co-op game if you have a group of friends to play with. It's a good one. And I mean, Jim played with friends and is still playing, I think, even though the Division 1 is 3-4 years old now.
Yeah, we actually played through the entire campaign together recently. So within the past 4 or 5 months or so, we finished it up. And we were gonna get the DLC for it, but like it would never go. Like many times the game itself would be like so cheap digitally, but they would never put the DLC on sale. And I'm like, you know what? Division 2's coming. I don't necessarily need to go and get this stuff right now. And we do have other games we can play, so we'll just wait. And then finally, it went on sale like right when Division 2, like, you know, Like they just started their media blitz basically, where they just keep releasing videos about it.
So I'm gonna throw it back again. Do you remember Army of Two?
Yeah.
Does it play kind of like that, where you guys are doing missions together and trying to like work off each other to, it's the only game that I have for reference of playing some kind of dual campaign.
Division's more of an open world game where you'll go and grab missions from people. Or you'll go to a certain location and there'll be someone there to say, all right, you got to go into this building and do this thing. So it's a typical like third person view open world game.
Do you start a quest and like a thing pops up and says so and so starting a quest? Do you want to accept and join him type of thing? That's how, like Diablo, right? I've been playing a lot of Diablo 3 recently, and if you join like a boss, it pops up and says, so and so is starting this boss. You have 60 seconds to press accept.
No, I mean, I think everyone pretty much just you'll get in a party together and you'll all be doing pretty much the same stuff.
Okay.
So yeah,
it also has elements of PvP. I mean, you and your group can, well, and the new one does too. So there are some, what do they call them? The dark zones?
The dark zone, yeah.
Yeah. And that exists in the new one too as well. So
I didn't play any of the dark zone personally.
I did.
We just played campaign.
And with the dark zone, you could play, single player, or you could play in groups. And the groups was a lot more fun. And the way that their PvP was interesting, and kind of challenging in terms of this open world area. Reminded me of a little more direction for Grand Theft Auto Online. You have a pretty large area where you're fighting, but you have specific things you're supposed to do. So they're directing you a little bit more than the madcap Grand Theft Auto Online stuff that happens.
And then, like, to actually get gear in that mode, I think you actually have to extract or something. And that, isn't that extraction process like the exact time when you get jumped all the time by other players?
Yeah. So a helicopter kind of comes in, and you have to kind of lift whatever it is you're trying to save out of the area. But you're right. That's the time. The strategy is that's when you come in and try to stop from taking off. And I think you get whatever if they die, you get it. So if I remember right.
Is this gonna be another $60 game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a full-fledged, like, what you'd consider a typical like $60 game, right?
Well, Go ahead. Finish the sentence. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not free to play esque at all. It actually, the production values are fantastic. Like New York City in the first one was just a gorgeous looking city. I mean, completely destroyed, but it was fantastic looking.
Sure. I don't mind a $60 game, but it's easier. Like I said, I play with Wrecker every night, and he doesn't really have the money to drop $60 on a new game. So for me, if you say it's free to play, kind of like Apex, that draws me in. But this really, like, the gameplay and everything's kind of like, well, maybe I just need to buy him an early Christmas present, because something like that would be a lot of fun to play with somebody else or a group of people.
Yeah, it's a cover shooter, a third-person cover shooter.
There will be an open beta. So, and with the open beta, you'll be able to play with your friends. So, it would be one you could check out and just decide.
Sure.
So,
one thing I need to know, Todd, and I haven't seen any information about this. I'm trying to decide which version of Division 2 I'm going to get. All right, and the difference between the versions isn't like $20. It's $40 this time in terms of the regular edition and the gold edition. And the gold edition has something called the Year One Pass, which I am confused completely about. Because, it gives you, like, some skins or whatever. But as far as I know, all the DLC for the first year of this game is supposed to be free. So, I don't know, and I can't find any documentation anywhere online about what's actually included in that, like, specialization. You get, like, early access to the DLC, I don't care. I'm not going to spend $40 to get a week early on that stuff. But it says extra activities or something like that, and that's really what I'm interested in. What does that mean? And they haven't said anywhere as far as I know. I'm going
to give you $60 for this game, and then you're going to charge me for a season pass because that's a load of bull.
He finally got to use it. It worked really well. No, so it's interesting in the menu for the game when you're in the menus. At the very bottom is an option to look at the elite version, I think is what they call the gold version of the game. So you can, of course, they want you to pre-purchase it demo. So you can click that, and you can see essentially what you just said, Jim. It's you see the cosmetics, you see that you get early access to the DLC, but it doesn't say anything about exclusive DLC. So I don't know.
Man, there's a screenshot that I saw that specifically says, all those things, but then it says like additional missions or additional objectives or something that makes me feel like there's going to be actual content to go along with it. But,
yeah, there has to be.
But this $40 price tag.
Oh yeah, no,
that doesn't make it. It's pretty clear that I don't think I'm going to be spending that extra $40 for this game.
No, and that's one of those things where season passes spend like Destiny 2. I mean, the last probably 3 or 4 games that have had that opportunity to spend 20, 30, 40 extra dollars, I haven't done it just because I know that I will be playing something else by the time the DLC starts to come out, and I'm not sure I'll go back to it.
Right.
So I think the only game for my birthday this year, I got the Spider-Man PS4 Pro, and because Adam, I'm 50. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, I know you like to rag on my age, and I am an age that is worth ragging on now. So
you age like a 50, fine wine, okay?
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So or a badger, either way.
Yeah, I age like a fine boxed wine. So I decided to get that PS4 Pro, and the game came with it and all of the DLC. Yeah, it was a pretty good deal actually, because so basically you're getting the season pass to Spider-Man with the Spider-Man PS4 Pro. So
okay, that's not bad. I think I'll still wait.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
My problem is I purchased so I bought a PlayStation 4 brand new, a few years ago for like Thanksgiving deal. Got a couple games with it, like normal stuff they do for Thanksgiving. Yeah. And then like a month later, my then boss offered me an Xbox One for $100, and I wasn't going to pass that up. So I bought it, and I've only ever played 10 minutes of the latest Gears of War game on my Xbox. I've done nothing else with it. So that's my problem with buying these consoles. I'm no longer a dual console guy, right? I think I did the same thing with the PlayStation 3 and Xbox One, or my Xbox 360. I played all 360 games, and the only reason I had a PS3 was either pick up stuff for reviewing because they came in, or because I want to watch Blu-rays.
Well, now though, you might find yourself playing more console games, especially if you have someone playing on the floor in front of you, and they're doing their thing, and you're like, I could do my thing too. It's a lot easier to do your thing in front of the television than it is in front of a computer.
Sure. So speaking of sitting in front of it, when I recently went on a work trip up to Michigan, and I took the Switch with me because the boys been playing a lot of Smash Brothers, right? The new Smash Brothers. And I've never played a Smash Brothers game in my life, and I'm awful at it. And so I took it up there to play it, to learn how to play it. And I'm terrible at that game. Even I'm so bad. Like I try to learn how to play it while so I'm on the flights, my 5 hours of flights trying to play. And I'm like, I can't. I'm never gonna beat this kid. So yeah, I need to learn how to play Smash so I can rub it into my 12-year-old's face, because my 12-year-old kid is not allowed to be better at video games than I am. just well,
it is a huge college thing too. So my son, when he came home for Christmas break and the holidays, and his friends came back from wherever they were, so they were all over the United States. They had this massive Smash Brothers tournament one night, and I think there were like 12 or 14 of them here. Ooh. And they played to they were serious about it. So one of them had already unlocked all the characters, and that was a week after the game came out. And so had all the characters, and they played till like 2 a.m.
Oh, I'm sure.
They are into it. It really, and it goes back to, they were all into it with the Wii and even the Wii U. So they were playing.
Yeah, I missed
they've
that.
Been
I was
playing that long.
I was playing Street Fighter, so I missed all that
Yeah.
through playing Street Fighter and everything. I've been playing the different types of fighting games.
I think it's a different mentality
Yeah, so-
too in terms of when you're playing Smash, right? It's the Street Fighter mentality is like you need to be the best. Like there's no fun here. You have to win. Where Smash, it's like, I screwed up and I flew off the screen. Oh well, you know. And I'm having a problem myself wrapping my head around that aspect of it. Because it is a fighting game, and because I used to play Street Fighter 4 like fairly regularly.
Right.
But yeah, I still haven't unlocked all those guys, Todd, and I don't play all
me
that
either.
much.
No, me either. I enjoy it. I think it's fun, but playing with those guys was not fun. I sat down and I played with them for about 20, 30 minutes. And it's interesting because they came back from college and they all curse like you now. They used to not, they used to check themselves before they wrecked themselves when they walked into the basement, and now they just don't care. So I guess
go figure.
that's what college does to you.
Was there Bud Light cans everywhere too? And
no, but I'm pretty sure at least one or two of them got into my bourbon. So,
oh no,
yeah, But they all spent the night here, so I can't prove it.
Sure.
So.
Well, that's always been my problem. So some of you that may not know now, I brew beer, and so I've got a kegerator in my garage with 3 taps on it. And I've always thought about that. I'm like, what happens when the kids are a little older, 16, 17, 18, whatever? Like, I can't prove you took the beer out of my fridge, and it's not like I could stop you from just walking up and going like this and pulling a beer out. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Do I just make sure I don't have the beer hooked up, like,
What I did was I gave the hoppiest IPA I have.
Oh yes,
that's the very first beer that I had Cameron taste, and I said, and he was probably 16, and I said, all beer tastes like that. And he believed me, of course, until now. But yeah, so I think he drank anything till he was in college.
So Adam, all you got to do is have one of those taps dispense pee, and
whoa!
So you'll know which one not to drink.
Well, I have been thinking about putting seltzer water or carbonated water on tap. So maybe that's just that's the way I go. So when they pull it, they're just getting carbonated water.
Or you flip it so they get it carbonated water in the face, so it's just like some kind of a spit take every time.
I guess that's one of the good things. I have been thinking about that. We go through the bubbly or the LaCroix like it's going out of style in this house instead of drinking soda. So I have been thinking about putting something like that on tap where I can just get carbonated water, put a couple of drops of some flavor in it, and go with it. So just kind of talking out loud here. Maybe this is forcing me to do it this weekend. I've got a free weekend. My wife isn't forcing me to go on any trails here in Colorado. Maybe I can actually have some time to clean my stuff and, do the hobbies I enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I got one more game, and then I'll stop talking about games. Talk about anything.
So we talked about beer, right? I'm gonna go get me one of those. Not that I don't want to hear about your game, but I'm gonna go get me a beer. So
he's got wireless headphones, so he could probably keep listening while he's getting.
He'll still get me.
Because I'll walk upstairs and I'll lose you, and then everybody else will lose you. So,
all right, well, I'll talk to Todd.
Thanks, at least one of you. So, and you might shake your head, and I don't care. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, why would I shake my head?
I don't know. It's a very polarizing game. Some people get it. They get the nostalgia. They understand. Wow, that game has started 17 years ago. Not Kingdom Hearts 3, but the Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 3. What was that? That was 2000. That was almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago. So I think I told you this. I pre-ordered that game when they made the first announcement for pre-orders 4 or 5 years ago on Amazon.
Yeah.
The assumption was that it would be. We're talking Kingdom Hearts 3, Adam.
Thank you.
So the assumption was it would be out, in a year or two, and 5 years later. And the reason I did it was because games had just started to be $59 around that time when they first sent the first pre-order, and it was $40. So I got the game for $40 that I pre-ordered nearly 5 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. And so, but I'm enjoying it. I like the play. I like the combat. It's not very difficult, but it's fun. The combat's interesting, and it's kind of easy. And I like the nostalgia of it.
Did they fix all the stuff? Like the last time I played a Kingdom Hearts game was Kingdom Hearts 1. I made it until where I was supposed to go on the last ship, who was the last boss. And then, 18-year-old me, or however, I think it was 18, 17, 18 at the time, went, I want to go get all the super weapons like I do in Final Fantasy. And then I never beat the game because it kind of peters out from there. So I bring that story up because I remember what Donald, Goofy had the shield and Donald had whatever. Like, is that still the same thing now?
Yes. Yeah, it's like a lance. So yeah, Goofy has the shield still, Donald has a lance, and Sora has the Keyblades. The story still makes absolutely no sense. If there is a person out there that says, "Oh yeah, I understand what's going on," they're lying, because it is all over the place. The only thing you need to know is Disney Worlds, and it's about friendship.
Wasn't the first one like the Shadow was taking over or something?
Yeah,
and then, like everybody. What's it called?
Heartless.
Oh, Heartless. And they were like possessing all the Disney characters. Then you had to fight them and like free them or whatever.
Kind of. I mean, and that's, so they're doing a good job of wrapping everything up in this in the third game. I haven't gotten, so I'm really still kind of early in the game. But what I find interesting about Kingdom Hearts games is, and I almost tweeted this to Jim, I played for 2 hours before I finally saw the splash screen for Kingdom Hearts 3.
What?
Yeah.
2 hours.
So 2 hours before, and part of it is it's like a prologue a little bit, and they call it Kingdom Hearts 2.9, and it makes sense if you played the second one, but I didn't realize it was going to be 2 hours before I saw Kingdom Hearts 3.
And this isn't you dinking around or anything, right? This
no,
that's straight going through.
Yeah, that is the first part of the game. It's a 30-hour game, and that first section was Kingdom Hearts 2.9 before you finally get to Kingdom Hearts 3.
So I've never played any of the Kingdom Hearts games, but I've always kind of wanted to. Should I start now? No, I shouldn't start now, right?
Well, I think it will. I mean, you could do this one, it would make absolutely no sense. And I don't think that you would go back, knowing the kind of games you play. I don't think you would go back and play 1 and 2, or you'd even have the time to go back and play 1 and 2.
Yeah, you would never make it through 1 and 2, then play 3. Yeah. There's no way.
You're investing, if you did that, you're investing about 60 to 90 hours of gameplay, because each game is about 30 hours.
Actually, that feels low to me. I always thought that I just assumed that Kingdom Hearts games were like 50 plus hours each.
Well, I think they can be, right? It's kind of like I said, I wanted to go back and get all like the super weapons and stuff. It has that Final Fantasy feel to it, where you can go and grind out all the powers and weapons and unlock everything if you want to, or you can just kind of grind a little bit and go straight through the game. Yeah. So it's got that JRPG feel in that, or any RPG feel, I should say, in that sense. But yeah, even going through it, you're investing a minimum of 20 hours maybe.
Oh yeah, well, it's a 30. No, this game is a 30-hour game. I've already spent. I've played 7, almost 8 hours, and I'm only in the first world.
Okay.
So, and there are at least 4 or 5 others. So I've got a ways to go.
So speaking of like game length and stuff, I'm just going to jump back to Spider-Man real quick. How long is that? Is that a 9-10 hour game, or is it a lot longer if you're going to collect everything?
Yeah, no, and not doing everything, it's still like a 20+ hour game, 20 to 25. Wow. Yeah, no, really? It's a long game. And it's a good length of a game too.
Okay, excuse me.
And I did, I finished the game. I did most of the missions, but there were several side missions I didn't finish.
I'm assuming the game opens up when you end it and you can go back and do everything else you want to. Yeah, that's a new thing, right?
Yep, there's a lot of that. But I'm enjoying this. I think it's fun. If you've played the other 2, then you owe it to yourself to pick this one up and play it. It was more fun when my kids were younger, because when I started the first one, my daughter wasn't even born yet. And the last time I played one, she was 5, 6, and she enjoyed watching it a lot more than she does now that she's 16. So it's kind of weird to play the game and say, "Hey, the kids would no, they're not going to want to come down and watch
not
it."
interested in sitting next to Dad on the couch.
That's why I told my wife about Spider-Man and even Pokemon Go, right? Like I had to take a couple. Again, I've been doing a lot of flying lately, so you're gonna hear a lot of like, oh, I've been flying. But I played Pokemon Go on the plane, and like I get to a point, I'm like, man, I'd rather have the kids here because they make fun of me if I miss a Pokemon or don't catch it, or like they scream, that Pokemon's there, go grab it, and that's a lot of fun for me now to have those kids there screaming at me to do it. And it's the same thing like with Spider-Man. I'd rather them watch me play it.
If you ever get lonely, Adam, Jim and I will be happy to scream at you as
Would
much as you want. Oh yeah, we're either of us or both at the same time. So just let us know.
Can we turn this into like the old men screaming podcast or
Yeah.
something? Like, there's got to be like a really good name for this where Jim and Todd just sit here and scream at me as I'm playing games, and I feel like I'm being whipped like by words, just like, oh, I'm sorry, guys, we'll go back.
We keep talking about back in the day, how things were so great back in the day. If I had my choice, I would pick today to play games and not me 30 years ago, because it's a lot more fun to play games now than it was back then. Games were fun back then, but there are so many different options and so many different challenges, and the fidelity of the gameplay is so much better. So
when I first met my wife, it was 5 years ago now. I downloaded one of the Mega Mans, like 2 or 3 or something, on the virtual console, and I made the kid play it. And he's like, the typical, I have to start all over. I died, I have to start all over. I'm like, yeah, kid, this is what I had to do. And then I'm like, yeah, this sucks. You're right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're right. This is garbage.
Yeah. There are some games that hold up. I think some of the Mario games hold up, but there are a lot of games that some of those quality of life things that we have now that we didn't have back then. I get why we have them. It makes the gameplay more fun.
Right.
And it makes the replayability of it more fun too. I'm not like, oh my gosh, cutscenes that I can't skip.
Oh yeah.
That sucks. And there, honestly, in Kingdom Hearts, I can skip a lot of them, but there's some you cannot skip. And I'm like, oh my gosh, guys.
Especially if they're like right before a boss, right?
Yeah.
Like save and you start and you have to sit through 20 minutes or whatever it is. I'm like, I just died. Let me do it again.
I still remember playing a was it Xenoblade? No. Xenogears. Yes. I remember playing a Xenogears game on PlayStation 2 and falling asleep during a cutscene and waking up, and the cutscene was still going.
Jeez, oh Pete.
And I looked at the clock, and I had been asleep for 30 minutes.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, it
What
was
was
like
that?
40 minutes.
That was like Metal Gear. I think it was Metal Gear Solid when you beat the game or right before the game or something like that. It was like 30 minutes of cutscenes just before you play again. You're just like, come on, I just want to play this stupid game.
Yeah. You forget, all the muscle memory leaves your body, and you forget how to actually play the game.
Right.
So,
what do I do? What?
Yeah.
Well, that's
go
my
back
problem.
to sleep.
That's my problem, though. Like, I'm going to keep bringing Spider-Man up because I'm just getting back into games, right? So excuse me for that, but
real games,
real air quote games. Console games and stuff. I'm just getting back into playing them again, and very happy to be. But like, I had played it before we went on vacation for 4 or 5 hours maybe, and now I'm going to go back. I'm not going to remember what any of these controls do or how to swing from webs and stuff. I'm going to, like you said, it's going to take me a half an hour to get comfortable again, and honestly, part of that kind of stops me from going back to do it. But I kind of just need to suck it up, right?
Well, no, I mean that was the same issue with Batman. The second Batman game, Gotham City. Gotham City. I did not. I picked it up, started playing something. Either another game came out or something happened. I took about a month off, and I did not go back to it. I didn't want. So I'd played it enough that maybe like almost half of the game, and the idea of going back and having to start over, I said, no, I can't do it.
Right.
And, relearning the controls for some of those games is so complex. And Spider-Man's very similar in how you play the game to the Batman games.
Right.
So once I started that game, I said, no, I've got to finish this game. Otherwise, I don't think I'll come back to it.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to force myself. I'm only, like I said, 3 to 5 hours into the game. So it's not like I can't just pick it up and figure it out. It's just, I'm open world. I can swing around, fight some bad guys, figure it out. No problem.
Yeah.
But I'm also wondering, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong because you are older than I am, but yeah, I'm 33 now, right? So I'm not too far behind.
Gosh.
Yeah,
I could be your dad, Adam.
Yeah, you really could. So, but I kind of feel like with a lot of these games, like the Arkham games or the Spider-Man games, is that I don't know if I don't have the patience anymore or if it's my age, but I don't really feel like I can learn the game as much as I want to, if that makes sense. I feel like there's so many combinations of buttons and stuff that I can flail through it and make it work, but like to really master the game, I'd have to like sink some hours into this to remember the combinations, and I just don't have the time to remember X, Y, X, up, down, B. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, well, fighting games are like that too. I mean, if you get into a game and you remember all the things that you can do, this a kind of flow or rhythm starts to happen, and it's fun. And you're right, you can mash your way through and kind of bowl your way through. God of War was one where once all of a sudden, and it's like it clicked. There was rhythm, and I felt this rhythm with the fighting, and it was a lot of fun to play that game. But to get to that point took me some time, and I thought if I don't find that rhythm, I don't know if I'll want to keep playing this game. The only thing that kept me going was the story. So, but once you get that rhythm, you're right. It's a lot of fun. But there are other games where trying to learn the mechanics and all of the, the intricacies of the game. Just Smash Brothers is one. I don't know if I'll ever care about all the different characters and all the things each character can do.
Well, they only have specific moves, right? You don't have to. It's up in a button and down in a button and.
Right, it's all B and up and down and left and right, and I didn't realize that playing it. But I think I tweeted out one day, I was like, "Help me play Smash," and somebody just told me that your basic attacks are better than your special moves. And all I'm thinking of is, how do I use my basic attacks? I don't. This isn't like Street Fighter where I can play footsies and throw out different moves. Like I don't get it. Like Street Fighter makes sense to me. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and some characters have a down that is an aggressive down that can, take out another character. Some just kind of bounce around when you hit the down button. And that's where I was getting frustrated playing with Cameron and his friends was I said, why can't this Kirby character do the same thing that the Yoshi character did when I hit the down button? And they said, why would you want it to? Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I guess I would. Some clouds.
Yeah, there's definitely some characters in that game that are like they feel ineffective if you play them like all the other guys, right?
Yeah,
I think the Wii Fit trainer may be one of those. Like, I'm trying to do the same stuff and it's just not working. Nothing's working.
Yeah, and Cameron he had that one down on lock. He was shouting "Salute the sun" before we even knew what was happening. Salute the sun, and we were like, "What in the And then he'd knock you off the boards. So, yeah, I'll still play it because it's fun to play with them. But I have found that I don't sit down by myself and play the game the way those guys do.
Yeah.
Same way with that Minecraft. What are the kids in this Minecraft?
Yeah, right. I don't get the Minecraft thing.
That game's a decade old too.
Yeah. What's up with that Minecraft?
Oh man.
Made you feel old.
I played Tetris. I played Tetris the other day.
Which Tetris?
I got a Tetris Effect. It's a PlayStation 4 exclusive Tetris game.
Is that the one that's also for PSVR?
Yes, it's the same one.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have PSVR, so I'm only playing it in the regular mode with controllers and stuff. And I saw Giant Bomb and Eurogamer both said that Tetris Effect was their game of the year. And it's Tetris. Like it's a really good version of Tetris. It's got great music, great visuals, but it's still Tetris. And I really like Tetris, but I'm not feeling why this game is their game of the year. Yeah. Maybe I got to go and like actually listen to, that 4-hour podcast that Giant Bomb does.
Maybe you need to be actually good at Tetris and not be a loser.
I am.
But even if you're good at it,
I want to curse right now, Adam.
Download that beef app.
Yeah, I gotta get that app.
Yo, I'm gonna be real with you. Tetris used to be the game that I would take and spend some quality time at work with when I wanted a break. If you catch my drift, like just go spend your 5-10 minutes and just play the heck out of Tetris. I got pretty good at it. Got pretty fast. Was never like grandmaster level, but I like Tetris a lot.
We used to play. So when I was dating my wife, before she was my wife, we went down to her family has a house in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. And we went down there, and they had the original Game Boy with Tetris and the link cables between all the Game Boys. And we would just play, and her sister, man, she was good at Tetris. And it was such a good feeling when you beat her.
That would be fun. Yeah, I remember playing that with those link cables as well, and I was not very good. And I'm still confused as to why they would choose that for their game of the year. I
don't know. It's really good. I have no problem with the game itself. I just don't understand why it would beat out something like. I haven't even played all of God of War, but God of War or even Red Dead Redemption 2. That's if I had to pick one, that would probably be mine for last year.
Sorry, I'll let you go. I'm sorry. I just had
no, go ahead. That's.
Well, okay, so I've literally never played a God of War game ever. Not one single one from back in the day till now. But so with that said, I have played not the latest Tomb Raider, but which one?
The second one.
PS4.
Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Probably the second one. I think it was the second one. Right? She was in the snowy mountains.
Yeah, that's the second. Yeah, that's the second one.
Anyway, so is it worth my time to go pick up the third one? I need to ask you guys because I really enjoyed the second one.
I played it and finished it and enjoyed it and thought it was a good game, and you can find it fairly cheap. In fact, it's going to be. I know you don't have an Xbox, but it's going to be a pass.
I do have an Xbox,
but
he does. He has the Xbox One that he got for $100 that he doesn't play.
That's right. It's going to be an Xbox Pass game.
That means I have to get paid. Well, actually, I just saw Slick Deals, $10 for 3 months Xbox Live. So maybe that's worth it, right?
No, not Xbox Live. Xbox Game Pass.
Oh shit, is that different?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Game Pass.
Yeah, shoot, that is
sorry.
Different.
Oh,
Adam, Game Pass is all the first party games for Xbox, and then they come out with probably 5 or 6 games a month that you can just download, and some are pretty good, and that's one of them for this next month that they're going to release. And Crackdown 3 is going to be coming to February 22nd.
I need to get me some Crackdown 3.
Do you really?
I loved Crackdown 1 because who didn't? Crackdown 2 was the pile of hot garbage.
Yeah.
And
I feel like you and I went to PAX. Is that the one we went to PAX for 2 and we interviewed the guy for Crackdown 2?
Yeah, we interviewed because I remember getting the beta or whatever, right? We got it early and we played it, and it was just hot garbage.
It was trash, absolute trash. I can't.
And this one, yeah,
I can't.
This one may not be.
I can't expect Crackdown 3 to be good at all. I mean, they've delayed this for so long, and the stuff that they've put out recently, I'm like, oh well, this game's it's probably coming out like holiday this year or something. No, it's next month. Like what?
Yeah, right.
Surprise.
It doesn't look good. It really doesn't.
If I didn't have Game Pass, I wouldn't buy it. I got a good deal of Game Pass. Like I think $30 for 6 months. So I thought, okay, there are about 3 or 4 games that I would like to play. Forza was one of them, Horizon, and so I have it basically now through June, so why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll download it.
Forza Horizon was the only game that I really wanted to fire up. My Xbox is back there, and it hasn't been really. What's funny is Adam telling his story about playing 10 minutes of Gears of War.
Yeah,
that's exactly the last game that I played on my Xbox One.
Was it really?
And it was for about 10 minutes, and I haven't played it ever since. I don't know.
See, I played a lot. I played Red Dead Redemption on my Xbox. I played the Division 2 beta on my Xbox, Kingdom Hearts on my Xbox. And the only thing I played on my PS4 lately is what is the game that just came out that is the remake?
That's not helpful.
Oh,
super helpful.
Two. Something 2.
2.
Oh, I'll think of it in a second.
Killzone 2?
No.
I don't know.
I'll think of it.
Not good. This is not good audio over here. This is
2 guys. Remember 2?
The 2 game.
Resident
Evil 2. Resident Evil 2.
Oh, okay. There it is.
Whew.
That was a close one.
Oh, for a second I forgot my name and where I was. Yeah, Resident Evil 2 I bought for the PS4. It's good.
I think you're didn't you have the Xbox One X before the PlayStation Pro?
Yes.
Is that potentially a reason why you're leaning Xbox now? Is because you that system was your 4K system, and now you just got in the habit of getting games for it, perhaps?
I think so.
I thought you were primarily a PS4 guy for a while.
Yeah, I was, but I mean, the games look good on the Xbox. They play well on the Xbox. Yeah, I go back and forth.
They play good and look good on the PS4.
Yeah, they do. They do. I can't say that one's better than the other necessarily. I can't make that argument. So I like them. I like them both. Yeah.
I've only got one hooked up to my 4K TV, and that's my PlayStation.
I will tell you that I have less issues with my Xbox than I do my PlayStation, in terms of being finicky with 4K and HDR. I've had more, especially with games like, Destiny 2. Well, you knew I had problems with Destiny.
Yeah,
Destiny 2 with my older PlayStation, and even with the new one, I had problems just a few weeks ago, and I had to make some changes. And I think part of the issue is there are so many fine-tuning things that you can do with the PS4 in terms of HDR, that you can screw things up for some of the games that you play. What was happening with Destiny 2 is I would play, and then the screen would go black, which single player, it would go black for like 2 seconds. Single player, that's not such a bad thing. Playing against other people, that really sucks. So I went into the settings, made a few changes, and everything was fine. But I would not, most people wouldn't know how to do that. The only reason I knew how to do it is because I've had to do it so many times.
Yeah.
So
I get you.
So do either of you have the VR headset?
Yeah.
Any of the VR headsets?
No.
Yeah, do you have which one do you have?
PSVR.
Okay.
And that's another hassle. I mean, that's another. They don't make it easy for you to use PSVR and your PlayStation with a 4K television, because you have to hook it up. In fact, I have to unhook the PSVR if I want to get true 4K and get HDR.
Gotcha. Then I probably need to go talk to Focal then, because I think Focal has an Origin or Oculus, because I've got an Oculus. We bought it for Christmas. We had played it at a buddy's house last year, and we're like, we need to have this. And I have played it 10 hours maybe. Yeah. I haven't. I played. It was like $300, right, for the whole thing. I got the whole Rift sensors and all that kind of crap. I've maybe put 10 hours into it between our random games, and I haven't touched it again. And I don't know if it's like as a lack of games, but I don't know. I think I fell to the trap, right, of playing it at someone's house and thinking I needed it.
But it's not something that's easy. I mean, if you're going to do it, you're investing time in getting set up and getting ready and doing it. And that's why right now I haven't hooked my PSVR. There's a couple games I'd really like to play. I'd really like to try Beat Saber, but to hook it up takes me about 5 to 10 minutes, and it's an investment in time that I'd rather just sit down and play a game.
Well, I've been thinking about it. So I told this story on Twitter the other day. the brief story of it. But my kid's PC died, and I brought it back to life. Basically, I went outside and blew all the dust out of it. It's overheating. It's an old FX processor for any of those that are computer savvy. So it's overclocked. It runs a little hot, and it was full of dust. So I'm assuming it was overheating on boot up. Anyway, I blew all the dust out. I brought it back to life. But I was telling my wife at the same time, I'm like, well, when this dies, we're SOL. And she told me, well, I think it's time for you to buy a new computer. And it made me laugh because I literally bought a new computer 8 months ago. If that, I bought a new Ryzen system. But I'm not going to turn down the opportunity to build a new system, of course, because I really like building them. So I'm going to play the hand-me-down game. New Ryzens will come out this summer. The 3000 series will be out. So I'll put a new 3000 chip in mine and just kind of, play the hand-me-down stuff. Anyway, but I've been thinking about doing that and then potentially taking either my PC or something and like stick it in the living room or finding some really long cords or something. Like I want a bigger space. What all I'm getting at is finding a way to get a bigger space to play my my Rift. Because where I'm at right now, it's actually under the recommended size to play the Rift. And my wife yells at me. She's like, "You're so wild when you play Robo Recall. You're everywhere." Like I think I've knocked over stuff or almost hit her in the face or almost hit my computer monitor. But like I know this is an MP3 that most people listen to. The space that I'm in, if I laid down, I'd probably play in a 5x5 space, right? Maybe a 5x7 space if I'm lucky. And that's honestly not big enough between all the stuff you do. Because like Robo Recall, you can literally bend down and the bullets will fly over your head. So I'm jumping all around and everywhere. Like I said, I've about knocked over everything. So yeah, that long-winded story to say, I need to find a way to get a bigger space. And that's where kind of what Todd, what you said. Like if I get a bigger space and I start dragging all my stuff in the living room, it's going to take me 20 minutes to set up every single time. Am I going to want to play my Rift? No.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I have the PSVR in the living room, and when my daughter or my son has brought friends over to play, it's been really fun to show them that kind of the way that you had the Rift shown to you, and they think it's cool and it's novel and it's fun to do that sort of thing and watch them get scared during a scary PSVR game, but then just setting everything up just to try to play something for myself, I'm just like,
Yeah, I'd rather just sit down and fire up a game and go, all right, I'm in 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where the Vive, it doesn't it have like wireless attachments that you can get for it, so you don't need to worry about all that. You basically just have everything set up and ready to go all the time.
Well, I mean, all my stuff is set up and ready to go. Don't get me wrong. It's still kind of a pain in the butt because you have to fire up the software and make sure it's getting in the headset. It's not seamless. And if I do Steam, I have to kill the Oculus software and make sure Steam sees it, and then make sure I'm like pulling my headset up and doing this. You know what I mean? It's just it's kind of a little awkward to get things going.
Todd, it's the game within the game, Todd.
Yeah, exactly. It is just like with a PC, the game within a game.
Yeah.
And do you get the other part of that game is the VR sweats? Do you get those at all?
I played The Forest because I bought it when it was on sale because I was like, oh, this is VR. This seems like a really cool game. I didn't realize it was just a regular PC game that I could play, right? And I got sick playing it. I think I moved 10 feet and I looked around and I hit the thing off. I'm like, I can't. I don't know what it is. There's something about this. I just can't play it. I feel sick.
Yeah. And it's weird. It's the game. There are certain games that most games don't bother me, but there was one game, and I don't remember what the name of it was. It was like rigs or something like that, where you were in these almost like a mech, but the mech was bouncing from like an asteroid to a different asteroid, and every time it went up in the air and I would bounce down on I said, oh no, I can't do that. And I started to sweat, and it wasn't hot, but I just started getting hot and uncomfortable, and I never felt really nauseous, but I just felt kind of a little dizzy, but just sweaty. Oh, it was
I bought a gliding game, a wingsuit game, and it looked. I mean, you're like just like VR. You're in it. You're flying all around and everything. And the same thing. I didn't feel sick, but it was it was like sweaty and kind of uneasy. Like I just didn't. I turned to the headset off and said, I can't do this anymore. I did feel legitimately sick when I played the roller coaster game.
Oh.
There's one you sit out on the roller coaster and it takes you through it, and I legitimately wanted to go throw up when I was done just doing like 2 or 3 bumps on that.
You're making me want to go hook it back up anytime soon. So
I know I'm not doing too much justice for it right now, but I will say, like, I came with Robo Recall, and that game is phenomenally fun. I can jump all around. I never feel sick and everything, but like I said, I'm everywhere when I play it, and I need more games like that. And I think probably the major problem is that like 2018 was a really, really bad year in terms of what kind of games came out for the VR.
yeah,
a lot of the stuff got delayed. A lot of the stuff that was promised wasn't as good, and we're very much in uncharted territories when it comes to, every game is $40, and if you don't read the reviews and like thoroughly read the reviews, I'm talking you have to read like 40 of them to understand the game, then you're just dropping money for nothing.
yeah.
So I think it's still just young, right?
Yeah, it is, and the quality, the ability to adapt to VR is going better. The quality of the fidelity of a VR game is going to get better. So, yeah, this is the beginning of this whole system, I think.
And it's been years. Like, so how much longer is it going to be before everybody's going to be comfortable with VR, or is this just going to be a 3D TV thing where it sticks around for a generation and then just goes away and no one sees it again?
I hope not. I spent $300 in the system. I kind of want to use it some more.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just saw Todd. He had his mouth like wide. Like
is it 10 o'clock?
Like that was a yawn. Well, listen, Grandpa, you're the one. It's almost in your time zone. It's almost 11.
No. Oh, that's him. That Grandpa. I thought you were talking to me. I'm like,
it's like 3 in the afternoon where you live, Adam.
My entire family is sick, so it's fantastic.
That's all right. I mean, if we want to roll it up and wrap it up here, it's fine.
Well,
I should probably go upstairs and go see the dog and whatnot.
We usually only go about an hour, Adam. That's we keep it tight.
Well, I know. Okay, so here's the thing. Whenever I was doing podcasting, I kept it to an hour on the dot. Like, I'd cut off conversation, be like, nope, it's an hour. And I'm like, we're done. But I just kind of had fun talking to you guys. I kind of let it go a little longer, right? And I've been streaming for an hour and 11 minutes, so really not too much longer.
No, we're pretty close, right? Pretty close to the normal time. So
it only took me a half hour to get into the Google Hangout.
Yeah, old man over here had to change his config files because his Windows 98 box can't connect to our newfangled Discord.
We got to figure out that was because the quality was better on Discord than it is here.
I bet you if he walked upstairs, I'd like.
I will. Okay, next time. Yeah, next time we will. I'll go upstairs.
We'll give it one more shot.
I will. Shot. We'll try again.
I'll sit there and troubleshoot with you. We could pull some USBs and plug them back in.
Okay, I'll get on earlier and I'll try to get a better headset.
Get off of Windows Vista.
Yeah. I'm on a Mac. Maybe that is my problem.
That's probably your problem. I'm gonna be real with you here.
All right.
You could probably upgrade, get off a Snow Leopard, make it over to High Sierra or whatever it is now.
It was dark mode. I got High Sierra dark mode going. Everything's moody. It's all moody.
So I have to. The last thing I have to say here before we get out of here is that. When I podcasted with you guys when I was, 20 something years old, I was never able to joke and have the life experiences to really, have the conversations and the laughs. So I'm really appreciative now that I've gone through that and I'm able to make fun of, you guys and take the hits and stuff too. I'm just saying that it's kind of funny. I was thinking about this today is about a year or two ago, I called my dad and I said, hey dad, thanks for raising me the way you did, or, doing the things you did, and just not giving me this or that. 'Cause it really set me up for, success later in life. So it's kind of the same thing. Thanks for, thanks for being, friends and all that kind of stuff. I was thinking about, I'm like, I don't know how else to say it. I just kind of found to get it. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, that's nice.
We appreciate you, Adam. We appreciated, I used to be very proud of the things that you did with League of Legends, even though I didn't understand what the hell it was.
I love the tweets. Don't worry.
Yes. And whenever like last year when they had the big tournament here in Columbia and one of our teams went on to win at Nationals, I kept thinking, I know a guy who is in this stuff and he is big in this stuff. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed. You still talk to us, and you were still friendly with us even when you were famous.
I know. For the brief moment, it was there.
Yes.
But cool. All right. Well, yeah, there was no fame. It never went to my head. It's fine. I just, you know what? The tip of the iceberg. I got flown out to Riot Games. Got to go got to go tour. You know, all on their dime, and then I can say I did that. So hey, there that is, right?
And that's pretty awesome.
We had some fun times doing that stuff.
Oh man, I went to PAX. Well, I went to PAX with the Trinity Force Network guys. Like I had a lot of fun because I took my wife out there. My wife would, film me and stuff, and I was the guy who was running around every place. We gotta get as many interviews as possible, and she loved going out there with me and doing that because seeing kind of like they treat you like celebrities, right? Like they were no name people, and I think we did the Brawlhalla. They were pulling us in. They were like, "You want water? You want food? You here's some T-shirts. Here's this," and I'm like, "Do you guys even know who we are? All you know is we have a press badge, right?" Like. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I love doing that kind of stuff. I'd love to keep doing it, but I'm an old man now and I can't. So.
Welcome to our
Welcome
world.
to the club.
Now you got to grow these old man beards like we have.
I can't grow anything. I don't know. Literally, this is like all I got right here. You see that? You see this? That's like a week. That's a week.
The older you get, all the hair leaves your head and just starts growing out of your face.
It goes down just like
that's
that.
What's happening to us.
Luscious hair, don't you?
Yeah. Well, good luck.
All right,
while you can.
Out here, this is what I would do the podcast. All right, I'm gonna kill it here, guys. Thanks for listening to the Short Attention podcast. It's been great.
Adam, if the next time we do this in 2 months, if you're around,
sure.
You can come back on.
Yeah, no, I'll be around. I'm around whenever, man. I can. About the earliest I can podcast is probably about 7:15 my time. So unless it's a weekend, then just whatever.
That's always during the week. Always the week.
I feel you. I get it. So.
All right, thanks everybody for listening. I missed this guy Alex. He was asking to join the call, so sorry I didn't see your chat in there. But thanks for listening for a little bit. Thanks Todd for staying up later, and I'm gonna go to sleep because it is 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Sweet. See you guys next time.
See ya.
See you guys.